Hey everybody, what is going on? Welcome back to the 25 days of disc golf, also known today and maybe one more time, I don't know,
One
as
or even
AceBabiee's Disc Golf Adventures Day. Miss Becca, how we doing?
pretty good. A little more worn out right now from disc golf because I haven't been playing a lot. Because my body has not liked me very much. So I had to DNF the last tournament I played in before this weekend, and I hadn't played for over a month, other than one casual round with a friend, and that was just because we've been trying to get together and play for a really long time. So I was finally like, okay, I'll go play. And that was like a couple weeks ago. And then I played the tournament Friday. Literally had not played at all since then. The only thing I've been doing is putting every single day, which I reached to 150 days straight of putting
Nice.
without stopping. So that's pretty exciting. Today was day 151. Um, anyway, I played this Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I just played a casual round with Chandler today at the a really nice course that's only a few minutes from where we live, Holloway Park. So um, it was a lot of fun. The first day I played was really rough. My body was in a lot of pain, really hurting, aching, not fun. But honestly, after that, after the second day, even I felt like the second round, my body felt better than it did the first round. It was kind of weird. I think just getting my body moving a little bit more, um, and then the third day was mostly fine too. Like I had some pains, but it wasn't as bad as the first day. My back hurt a lot. But yeah. So anyway, got another tournament in the first 2 days. The rounds were rated pretty poorly. Like the second day was just awful. Like it's so bad that it might get dropped from my round ratings just because it's
Oh,
so much below my average. It was like 780 rated or something like that. So then finally yesterday I was able to kind of bring it back a little bit and have almost a 900 rated round. It wasn't quite, but um and that was even with some like silly mistakes. So I was really glad to be able to put something together the other 2 days. And even the third day, I was just like, okay, I'm just glad that I'm finishing. I didn't DNF because I did DNF from the last tournament because my back was hurting so badly and I just did not feel good all around. So, yep, it's been kind of a rough season of disc golf lately, the last few months in particular.
man. But how many tournaments have you DNF'd?
Um, that would have been. Trying to think if it was this. I think it was the second.
Mm-hmm.
I had to DNF one shortly after Am Worlds last year, but that was after I had like major surgery,
Yep.
and I think I just pushed myself too much. It was like a really brutal course in Virginia, Mayflower, and yeah, I like barely even made it through the first round, and I was in a really bad shape. So that was the first one ever that I had to DNF from. So that probably would have been like August or September of last year. That was my first DNF.
Because I thought that's what you had told me, and because I think we talked about it last year. No, earlier this year, not last year, earlier this year. And I was like, I DNF'd one event, and I was like, I felt so bad, and
Yeah.
it's so hard. And I think you may agree or disagree, but it's so hard to finally just say, you know what, I have to. It's just it to me it hurt more to finally to have to drop out of an event. So
Yeah.
I mean,
It's really tough. Like I'm not a quitter. And so for me, quitting anything like a tournament especially when I kind of feel like, okay, like I can somehow make it through, right?
mhm.
but it was to the point to where it was like, no, this is going to be so terrible. Like the first time I DNF, the first round was just so miserable, really rough. Like, not just like, obviously you're playing poorly too, but like you just feel miserable the entire time. And I definitely was wondering this weekend if I was going to make it through after the first day, because the first day was really rough. And I was like, okay, let's, see how this goes. And obviously I didn't want to DNF. But I was also kind of trying to gauge how I did and everything, and determine whether I wanted to try to do another tournament this coming weekend, the South Florida Open, which I may do. And the only reason for that is because I finally put together a semi-decent round, the final round.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the first 2 rounds, and I know we're not here to talk about this tournament, but the first 2 rounds, it was just like almost everything that could go wrong went wrong. And it was like I kept throwing nose up with my flicks. Per usual, I could not get my, like, put together a solid backhand or anything. And then I tried it a little bit more the second round, the backhand, and I had some really bad throws with the backhand, but I also had some really good throws as well. And so I was like, okay, trying to get like just a little bit more confidence with that. And then the final day, I had even more really good backhands. In fact, like the hardest hole in terms of OB and stuff, it's kind of like 2 islands almost. You throw to like the first one, and then there's like a second island, and it's a little over 300 feet, but there's like a ton of OB. It's a very hard tee shot. And the third day I threw a backhand, and it was like perfect, and I landed right in like the first island. I ended up bogeying the hole because it was like one of those things where like I don't mind making that mistake on an approach shot. It was a Berg approach shot, which usually I do really well. In the next hole, I kind of redeemed myself because I like put it right at the basket. But this one, I just put it past the basket, and I was like, I don't mind making that mistake, but it just really hurt to make that mistake on that hole.
Mm-hmm.
Because only 2 of us were in bounds off the tee. The other 2 were out of bounds. And the same thing happened the first day. Two of us were out of bounds and 2 were in bounds. And I was out of bounds on day 1. And so I had to go from like the drop zone. But yeah. Anyway, so my backhand was, I don't know, there's like glimmers of hope. And I used the backhand some more today, but Holloway is a course where there's a lot of shot shaping, and there's a lot more pressure, to get the backhand right. Because if I'm just in a more open course, which is how, a lot more Florida courses are, then you really just know how your throw feels, but you're frequently not challenged in terms of, okay, I need to hit this specific line like this with Annie, a turnover or whatever. And so I was trying the backhand more today at Holloway, which requires a lot more of that shot shaping and everything. And it was a little rough. It was a little rough. So we're not there. We have a long ways to go. So
yeah, you have 2 months to get ready for the regular season.
I don't know if a year is enough time. No, just kidding.
It's baby steps.
Yeah. It's just like it's literally like I have the yips with the backhand. That's how bad it is. And I'm very like cautious about saying anything like that. But it really, it's like it just got into my head so much at Pro Worlds actually was the worst. And we can like talk more about that, because that was sort of a major thing that happened at Pro Worlds that was really, really not great, and definitely had a huge impact on the remainder of my disc golf, or lack thereof, for the remainder of the year after that.
All right. Do you want to get to AM Worlds now, or?
Sure. Let's start out with Am Worlds.
See, gosh, I meant to. It was in Minnesota, right?
It was in
Michigan. Michigan.
Rapids, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
So, trying to think where to begin. All right. So Am Worlds, for me personally, was my most important tournament of the year.
Mm-hmm.
That was what, like, I really believed that I had a decent shot at winning it. You know, I had been, before I left to train for that, I'd kind of started my putting every day thing. So by the time Am World rolled around, I feel like I was close to day 30 maybe of putting in a row. So I was trying to make sure like my putting was there and I was prepared. I had been starting to do some more of like field work and form work to try to get my backhand, you know, back to a more serviceable place, because like I got cancer and everything and had this surgery, and then when I came back, I pretty much had lost a lot of stuff with my backhand, and I never really felt like I got it back, and was just playing tournaments a lot, so I didn't really have the opportunity to correct it a lot, but I was kind of trying to during practice, and then in April I started to feel like I was kind of getting my backhand back again, and it was starting to click, and I was feeling really good about it. And then that's when I potentially got like Lyme disease, and then everything was like completely ruined at that point, and like everything was taken away. I was back to like ground zero, and then I was just never able to recover from that for whatever reason. So that was April, and then I kept trying to kind of like bring the backhand back, but it just like I was having a lot of trouble like committing with it. And then I got to a point to where I felt like, okay, it's like decent. By the time Am Worlds came around, I was semi-confident with it. I was like, I'm way more confident with my forearm. I was like, I'll use that more, but I still felt like I had a decent backhand and I could use that. Then, yeah, and I did actually use it some more for Am Worlds, but then Pro Worlds it pretty much, and I'll get into that more when we talk about Pro Worlds. So I'd really done everything I could before that. I felt like mentally I was, very prepared. I was as prepared as I could be for the courses. I got there almost 2 weeks early to practice. So I was, practicing most days, doing putting practice every single day, really trying to prepare my best for the course. And then we were supposed to start at Rotary North, which we were playing twice, which was kind of unfortunate because they had rubber tee pads that were really not great. And they did like a fix for it, but the fix was not good either. Because it was like these big wood chips that you just like, you couldn't really do anything on those either. And they were like to the side of the tee pad, so you could, tee off. But it was actually, the dirt there was actually better than the wood chips that they put there. And they tried to do some things and tried to like clean off the tee pads, but it's just those rubber tee pads were not very good. There's actually was someone that ended up needing to DNF because she slipped and like hurt her back.
Oh.
On those tee pads. Audrey Wickerland, her and her partner actually won the doubles, the Am Worlds doubles event. So we were supposed to be there the first day, but that course is very prone to flooding, which makes the rubber tee pads even worse because if they're wet, they're pretty much useless.
Yeah, rubber tee pads are the worst.
Yeah, so it rained a lot that first day, so they ended up switching us to Fallsburg for day one, which we were only playing that course once, which I was a little sad about because that was actually my favorite course of all three courses that we were playing, because it was Fallsburg, Rotary, and Brewer. And we were playing Rotary and Brewer twice and playing Fallsburg only once. And then we also played that one for the doubles event. So my birthday was that Saturday, I think, or Sunday maybe. I forget which day it was. It was August 3rd. And we played doubles that day. I did pretty well. Yeah, Hammond Hills, definitely. I wish I just saw Chuck's comment. I really wish that they would have used Hammond Hills. That was such a nice course. I did get to play that course in a flex start that Ashley Pickett ran like the Friday before or something maybe, and that was a fun course. So definitely a lot of other options and stuff. But anyway, so we ended up doing the doubles. I can't remember what place we ended up getting at doubles. Maybe it was my partner and I maybe got like 10th place or something. Maybe better. I don't know. I can't remember. Maybe last year was 10th place. Feels like it's been a lifetime ago in some senses. Let me see if I can actually see that. Let me see, doubles. Skill shot. Oh no, we got 6th place. Okay, so we did better. So then and then I'm pretty sure the main event started 2 days later. I did all of the extra events. So for the long drive competition, I actually got 2nd place. Oh no, are you still here? I don't see your. Hey, Daryl. He's gone. I can hear you now.
I'm not gone. For some reason, my laptop, for some reason, just wants to shut off when I'm doing live streams.
That's weird.
Yeah. When I was interviewing Jennifer Allen, it did it like 5 times. It doesn't shut down any other time. Albert Time, though, on the other hand, no shutdowns. Yes. So if it does that, just keep going.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So I got 2nd place in the log drive competition, which I was very surprised about. I think I've thrown worse every single year because this is my 3rd year playing Am Worlds. And my first year, my distance for the long drive competition was 360 feet. I also got 2nd place. But if I would have thrown that this year, then that would have gotten me 1st place by like 20 feet or something. But I got 2nd place, and then I didn't do very well in the putting competition, which was kind of funny. And then the baskets were also kind of trash too, but whatever. I should have done better. And then the skill shot, I got like 5th place or something. So not amazing, not terrible kind of thing. So, had doubles, had the skill shot stuff, and then we get to the first day of the event. It's raining. Not great, super great conditions, but honestly, I think by the time I teed off, it had mostly like stopped raining. So I think a lot of the earlier tee times, it was much worse for them. But that round was just brutal. It was soul crushing in terms of for disc golf. It was, because like I knew during that round and towards the end of it, I was pretty much like, yeah, there's like no coming back from this. Mm-hmm. And that wasn't the best, obviously wasn't the best place to be, but I had worked so hard, and it's not that I was like, okay, I have to win. I believed that I could win, but it was more of just that I knew that I could, and I knew that I had prepared as best as I could. And then to feel like I was just taken out of it on day one, I cried a lot. Let's just say that. So that was really rough in that round. Let me see what it was rated. It was that first round. was rated 832. So not as bad as my final round. My final round, I don't think I'd had a round rating that bad since I had like started disc golf pretty much. Since like, or like 2 years in advance, I think was the last time I had like a 700 rated round. I got another one of those this weekend. Actually, it was day 2 was really bad. So day 1, I got an 8 on hole 5. So this is at Fallsburg. Yeah, I remember one hole. I think it was, what was it? Yeah, no, maybe hole 14. I don't know. There was one hole where my it was just really discouraging towards the end because, you know, I keep picking myself back up. Like as I'm going in a tournament round, I usually do a decent job of kind of letting go of what's happened the hole before and stuff. But that one was a little bit harder because I could tell, you know, I was getting just a lot of little mistakes. Either I wasn't throwing quite right or I was getting kind of unlucky. And there was this one like straight downhill shot, and I'd almost like aced it in some of the practice rounds and like did really well. Like we birdied it. Maybe even both rounds for doubles, and I put it like really close to the basket multiple practice rounds. And even my drive that first day was really good. Like it was looking great. I like threw it, I flicked my passion downhill and it was looking great. And it got the most weird tree kick thing, and it put it in like no man's land where there was like, I had nothing pretty much. And so I tried to do this like patent pending backhand Annie shot, and I hit like the next tree in front of me. And then you know, and you're just sitting there thinking, okay, like what should I do? And then after the fact, after you finish the hole, you're like, okay, maybe I should have just like try to pitch it out to a random spot. But you know, you want to try to kind of save it. And this one ended up not working out well at all for me, and hit the first tree. And then I tried to do another thing that was similar because I was still in a really bad spot, hit another tree. And then finally I like get out to where I can get it up to the basket, and ended up getting like a 5 or a 6 on it. And that was like towards the end of the round. And that was after I got a birdie on hole 13, which was like a pretty tough hole to get a birdie on. It was the only birdie of the round. And then actually it was the next hole, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, hole 14.
14, yeah.
That was the crazy downhill that I just got so unlucky with my drive. Like it was such a great drive, no problems with it at all. And then I somehow ended up in this horrible place. In fact, like most people would throw, you know, probably a backhand for that throw. But I was definitely going to throw a flick because it's also the highest percentage shot, because all of the bad stuff was to the left side. And there wasn't, you know, like you wouldn't, it was a really a tough hole to like get a birdie on, because it would be really easy to like skip off the hill, especially with a forearm. But there wasn't as much damage to be done on the right side, you know, with a flick. So it was definitely like a much safer play. And then I still somehow ended up on the left side, which that was like what I was trying to avoid by doing, you know, a forearm. And I hit the line just how I wanted to. I don't know what it hit on, but that's just like one example of things that were happening throughout the round, and just unfortunate stuff. And, you know, you really needed to get more birdies and everything. And I was mostly just getting bogeys and pars and only one birdie. So that was kind of, yeah. Like I said, that round was kind of soul crushing. And my body was also feeling really weird. Like, I don't know what happened. I don't know if maybe because I had such a bad round that first round, it just really messed with me mentally with my game, but just things just didn't feel like things just weren't clicking. They weren't feeling right. Like I don't know what it was. It was like my body just felt weird. I would I would do something that I felt like was a certain way and then it just wouldn't really pan out or work out. It was just kind of weird. It was confusing. You know, it was a very frustrating, a very confusing tournament in a lot of ways, but especially that first round. And then of course the discouragement and devastation from doing so poorly right out the gate, you know, was pretty upsetting.
Yeah. After round one, you were +8 and tied for 50th.
Yeah. Tied for 50th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was rough.
Yeah. So I remember, you know, we were talking a lot going into that, and I remember, you know, we were really thinking at worst, top 5 at worst. You know, final card.
Yeah.
We had such high hopes going into this one, but hey, a lot more to go.
Yeah. I did better. This was actually the worst place that I've ever been for an Am Worlds tournament. So I ended up 33rd place.
Mm-hmm.
I did make the cut for the final day. And then I played so poorly on the final day because I can't remember. Let me see. After the 4th round, I was. Let's see, what was I? I was 23rd. I was 23rd, and then I went down 10 spots. I went down as many spots as I possibly could have gone down, because I was at the very bottom of the end of the people that got into the finals. It's 33, I guess 33 people got into the finals.
Mm-hmm.
So then day 2 was there was also like a lot of other stuff going on. So again, my body was kind of feeling weird, and I'm sure that was some impacted by the fact that I had a bad round the first day. And then one of my sisters was also having a lot of health issues, and so I was like very concerned about that, and there was a lot of stress and stuff associated with that, and I was very worried for her. And had been, you know, like video chatting with her a lot. And she was like in and out of the ER, and this all started like the day before the tournament started. So that was a lot of like added stuff to it, along with other things. So day 2 we played at Rotary, and it was a decent round. I felt I definitely, there were a lot of like birdies left out there, but it was a much cleaner, much better round overall, which you can get yourself into a lot of trouble at Rotary. So and I do not like the course much at all. So I was pretty happy with a 2-over.
Yeah, that's something we talked about going into that tournament as well. You really did not like that course at all.
No, I pretty much hated it. So yeah, so after round 1 I was 50th place, and then after round 2, let's see what, because I definitely
You went up to 31st, tied for 31st.
Okay.
That was a big jump.
Yeah, so I went up
plus 2 that round, yeah.
Spots, so almost 20 spots. And that was still not like rated super amazing. It was 874, but the problem was we didn't have extremely high rated players, so you're not going to get you know, really high ratings necessarily. Then day 3 was the peak. We kind of went like this with our ratings, and it was my only 900 rated round, just barely, and I shot a 4 under at Brewer. And actually,
Brewer.
honestly, forgot about this. So I had a turkey, holes 12 through 14, but I got 6 birdies. So that was more reasonable. Like, I definitely can do better at that course, but a 4 down was pretty good. And like, I knew I could do better from like practicing and everything, but that's always the case at a lot of courses like that. I mean, in terms of for the tournament, I was, especially after the rounds the 2 days before that were so bad. So that was 908. So that was our first time playing at Brewer Park. Then we went back to Rotary the next day, and I got a 3 over, so 1 stroke higher than the round there previously, and it was an 864 rated round, so like not that great. I had a really awesome finish though. I had a 3 down through the final 7 holes. So really, really good finish, which was awesome because I mean I was not doing well. I mean, through 11 holes, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over through 11 holes. So I was not going well. And then I was able to kind of bring it back a little bit there at the end. And this is, the 4th round. So this is right before the finals. And if I hadn't like figured my stuff out there at the end, then I probably wouldn't have even made the finals. And I was thinking like, oh my goodness, I can't believe now I might not make the finals, but was able to pull it through and make it into the finals. And then I guess I just kind of forgot to play disc golf.
I would say this about that round. I believe I messaged you and I told you I was really proud of you to not give up on that round and finish strong, because that's one of those that easily could have been 8-9 over.
Yeah.
And to save it with, going 3 under the last 7 holes that was pretty impressive. Because I know me mentally, when the train starts going that fast south, it's tough to get it back on track.
Yeah. It definitely was, and I'm very, I was proud of that too. I was definitely happy that I was able to keep fighting, even though there were a lot of discouragements, not just from that day, but also from, the rest of the week. It was just such a letdown, because I've been looking forward to that for such a long time. And the first year I played Am Worlds, I just wasn't at that level yet. I still had some work to do, but I was really improving fast and, had a lot of really good distance. And then my second year, everything was taken away from me by cancer, essentially, and endometriosis. And then I was doing really well just to finish where I finished. I think it was like 19th place, maybe. I think last year. And that was like really good given my circumstances and, what I had been through the previous months. In fact, I probably shouldn't have even been playing the tournament already. Yep. It was like my first tournament after major surgery and everything. And then so this year was kind of like the first year where it's like, okay, I figured a lot of this stuff out. I'm ready. I'm prepared. I know I have like the skills and everything. And then it just all sort of fell apart. So that was a huge discouragement. I see we lost Daryl again for a little bit. And then the final round was very rough. I got 2 birdies in a row, but let me see. The first 5 holes were pars, and then I got a ton of bogeys the rest of the round, other than these 2, hole 13 and 14, where I got birdies. but that was a much different round. So I shot a 4 under the first time we played at Brewer, and then I shot an 8 over. So 12. So an over 900 rated round to an under 800 rated round. So 785. And I went and looked back at my ratings, and I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering correctly, that I hadn't shot another 700 rated round in like 2 years.
Oh, great day.
Yeah. So this was my first 700 rated round in 2 years. So obviously that was a very discouraging way to end things. I was very happy for Virginia, and all the other girls, and like Brooke Johnson just put up such an amazing fight. Therese, Addison, Janelle, Kylie, all of those girls. I was especially happy for like Brooke because there's all these like Virginia, Therese, Addison, all of them are like 14 and 15 years old and stuff. And, we're like the old kids. So, I was like, yeah, let's go, Brooke. Do it for us, us old folks.
Yeah. I mean, she finished 7 under in the last round.
Yeah.
Which was incredible.
Yeah, moved her up 3 spots, which at that point, to move up 3 spots, that was pretty impressive. But Virginia, like, she just crushed it. I mean, even though she did not do very well that final round, she shot it 2 over, actually. But she still, even with shooting a 2 over, had a 6-stroke lead on the rest of the field, which is impressive. It's just that impressive that she did that well the other days. Day 1, she shot a 961 rated round.
Ooh-wee.
Every round she shot a 900 rated round other than the final round. But at that point, she had given herself enough of a cushion that it didn't matter. She didn't need to. So that was really cool. Kind of similar to what I did for NADGT last year, where I had like a 7-stroke lead going into the final round. And that I didn't play amazing necessarily, but I had enough of a lead that I still was able to take home the win.
I mean, she is, for people that don't know Virginia Pokinghorn, an amazing player. She won, I think, junior worlds this year, and she won. Did she win? Yeah, she won U.S. Women's last year.
I don't think she won junior worlds. I don't know if she played junior worlds.
Let me check and see. I thought I saw her do that this year.
Yeah, she's been playing pretty much her entire life, I think, because her mom plays. Her mom still plays. I think maybe both of her parents played, but her mom's really good.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, if you look at her on the app, it's just like everything. You see one. It's incredible. Amateur first.
Amazing.
I thought she did. No, I think you're right. I believe you're right.
So anyway, that is Amateur Worlds. I don't really know what else to say about that. I was pretty defeated, pretty discouraged, and also had lost some of the confidence in my backhand again, because it was just like I don't know, I wasn't able to really commit very well. So I was really struggling a lot more with my mental game and the mental aspect of disc golf after that point.
She finished 4th in the FJ18 this year. Oh. There. All right. And then you had, gosh, what was it? It was right at what was it 2 weeks till Worlds? 4 weeks till Worlds.
I think it was like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So it was pretty much Am Worlds, and then one weekend, and then the middle of the next week it pretty much started because we started like Wednesday or Thursday.
Carl said it was great having you play his home courses.
Yep.
Because she left there, then came down and played my home courses.
Yep, which I had played New London before, although I had never played the FPO layout.
Mm-hmm.
I'd only ever played the MPO layout, which is a beast of a course.
It is a beast of a course. And news on that course. Paul Macbeth is coming back for the redesign. That was just announced last week.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
So sad that they have to do that they're getting rid of that whole section. It is just it. I love playing that course.
It is a great course.
Ivy Hill, not a fan of at all. It was terrible.
Yeah.
It was not fun at all to play, especially with what happened to my game during it. And like took away literally any confidence I had in my backhand. It was like nothing after that course. But New London I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I tried to play New London one day, and I actually quit after hole 14.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just going to ride around the cart the rest of the round. I am done with this.
Wait, you mean Ivy?
Yeah, Ivy, yeah.
Okay.
Did I say New London?
I think you might have said New London.
Okay, but Ivy. I played Ivy the one time, and I was like, yeah, just ride around the cart. The people that are with me, like, are you really quitting? I'm like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah. There was one place where it's like you pretty much couldn't even get in bounds if you didn't have 350 feet of power, which a lot of FPO field doesn't. Like half of them maybe.
Yeah, because I came on the practice round with you on that, and Kristen Tatar, she comes up on that hole. It was hole 13. And she barely cleared the OB.
Yeah.
And she throws a long ways.
Yeah. Yeah, and even Owen was saying like, yeah, I just want to just like throw my disc on the ground in front of the basket and then go walk to the drop zone, which is still like a really tough drop zone. So that was another thing about Am Worlds is just, so I'll say this. Okay. So I practiced Ivy Hill 2 days before, and then I think I took the next day off because I was just really like worn out, and I just felt like it would be better to take the day off before the tournament started, because I mean it's a lot of rounds. It's, even if you're not in the finals, it's still just a lot, and these courses are very demanding physically and mentally. So I got to practice with Emily, Yale, and then Daryl was also there, and I can't believe I'm forgetting Emily's.
It was not Grant.
Name. Sorry, Emily. Anyway, the best part of the entire tournament was this practice round with them. I had so much fun with Emily. She is super sweet, really amazing. We were just joking around, having such a fun time. Obviously glad that Daryl was there as well, but I'd never just I don't even know if I'd actually played like a round with her. I don't think I'd ever been on the same card as her either. Like during a round, but we got to practice together and just had a blast. I loved it so much.
Yeah, those two were so much fun.
Yes, they were both a lot of fun, which is saying a lot for Ivy Hills, because Ivy Hill was not a very fun course to play, and the fact that I was able to have so much fun playing with her says a lot about how cool of a person she is.
Yeah, let's answer this question real quick. Will AmWorlds be at a different location next year? I mean, I think it's different every year, if I'm not mistaken.
Different every year.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I think it's in. I'm trying to, because I get U.S. Women's and AmWorlds mixed up. I want to say that it's going to be in Wisconsin, like Madison, Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe I'm mixing that up with U.S. Women's.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's definitely a different location every single year.
And out of the courses you've played, where do you think would be the ideal place?
I
mean, one I think of kind of right offhand, I thought Burlington would be great because you have.
I really love Burlington. Yeah.
Because you have different courses for different levels. And I think that'd be kind of cool for the men, women, and the juniors and stuff.
I liked Burlington a lot. I think that could be a great place. And then they could have like the FA1 play the FPO course once, since it's just a challenging course.
Yep.
And then have them play the Birdie or Die wooded one twice, and then the longer, more open course, I forget what it was called, have them play that one twice. I think that would be a great location. I also really loved playing in Madison, Wisconsin for U.S. Women's a couple years ago. I think that could be a great location. I honestly think even like Grand Rapids could be, or that area could be a great location. They just needed to pick different courses. The course selection was bad. I'll say the same thing about like Austin, Texas, because Austin, Texas has a lot of really amazing disc golf courses. And we played there for U.S. Women's this year, and we didn't play like any of the cool courses. In fact, we played the one course every single round, and it wasn't like that great of a course. So that was kind of like disappointing. And they had like their reasons for it with like some parking stuff, but it just was like, that should have just been worked out. It was like a waste. It was a waste of Austin. Like, why are you going to have people travel all the way to Austin and then not play their good courses? So
that is really surprising that they had that event with only one course. It's like they always have two courses.
Yep.
Oh well.
So anyway,
back to Worlds.
Back to Worlds. So we started the tournament, and at this point, like, my mental game is not great. You know, I'm kind of feeling like I don't really belong to be at Pro Worlds. You know, I didn't even do very well at Am Worlds, and now I'm at like Pro Worlds. So there's a little bit of like imposter syndrome. A bit. I'm still doing the putting every day and everything. In fact, Daryl helped record my daily putting on 2 or 3 of the days, I think. So anyway, then we get to Ivy Hill, and
was that day 1 for you at Ivy? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, day 1 was Ivy. I'm trying to think, was that the day that was it day 1 that I like grip locked really terribly, or was that might have been round 3? Yeah, no, I think it was round 3. Anyway, so round 1 is pretty brutal. It was 25 over par. I mean, that's a tough course, but still, it was rough. If you look at the percentages, they're not very great. It was an 832 rated round. And it was just pretty rough. And it just wasn't an enjoyable course to play. So like, it wasn't fun. And, you know, I'm doing my best to just be like, just play, do your best to have fun, But it was very challenging too, given that course.
I mean,
Um,
that course, two things about that course. One, the OB is ridiculous on that course. And then two, you're just walking up and down mountains practically over there.
it's exhausting. It's
Yeah.
exhausting in every like. There's huge hills, and you're
Hmm.
going up and down them, and you're throwing up and down them, and you're walking up and down them. You're it's exhausting. It's so easy to get OB on a lot of courses and
Hmm.
on a lot of holes and a lot of holes. It's even difficult to get in the fairway and not OB on your drive.
Hmm.
So yeah, I would be happy to never play that course ever again my entire life. And I think a lot of other people feel the same way.
Well, the Tour Championship will be there at the end of 2025.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think I would just be like, no, thank you. Like, I mean, like,
I'm busy that day.
everyone, watching this would be like, okay, well, Rebecca, you're not gonna be good enough to like play. But just say I
Yeah.
like figured all of my game out again and was doing really well again, and was to the point to where I could do something like that. I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would do it. I would just be like, yeah, no, you guys have fun.
But the views were great. When you're up there at that putting green, you look out and you got the peaks of Otter out there. Stunning views. If you
Yeah.
just ignore the course.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was beautiful. The course looked it was very aesthetically pleasing.
Yes.
You
Yes.
got going for it. New London was great.
Yeah.
I wish they just would have picked a different course for FPO. Maybe had FPO play something different than the guys, or just design the course differently.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, that was rough. Well, day two though, I was my only over 900 rated round, and it just felt really good, and I enjoyed it. I had an amazing card. Can't remember everyone that was on it, but we just had just such a fun time. And
Do you
yeah,
know do you know if it was three people on that card? You, Emily, and Cassandra.
it may have just been four of us, but yeah, it was Emily and Cassandra, and we just had such a fun time.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I remember at the end, and also our scorekeeper, he had a super fun time. He was like, yeah, I've been like scorekeeping for like this is like my 20th tournament, and you guys are like the most fun card that
Oh.
I've ever been a scorekeeper for. And we were just having a blast. Like, we were having such a good time. We were dancing, we were singing, we were joking around, we were being silly. We were just having a good time. It was that was definitely my best round. Just not because I had a 911 rated round, but because it was just like having fun playing disc golf.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, like, when I've played with people that have that positive energy and just having fun, I play better. And I think most people probably do.
Yeah, it was really good.
Mhm.
Um, so let me think
And
what after round one, I was 87th place out of 89. So not last, but
yeah.
close. And then after round two, I moved up 4 spots. So then I
Hmm.
was 83rd
Yep.
out of 88 then at that point, because I think someone had DNF, but still 89 total. So
Yeah.
83 out of 89.
8 over on that course is really good.
Yeah. I was pretty happy with it. So 8 over was well over 900 rated, which was pretty cool.
You know, us locals, we did not like what they did to 1, 2, and 3, but the rest of it was okay.
Why not?
1, 2, and 3 on the right hand side, all the way is OB. But for y'all, they really cleaned a ton of underbrush out and did not have OB on those holes.
Yeah, I think we were happy with that.
Yeah, hole 17. When you get out there, there's like a diamond where you can take two different lanes when you get far enough out there to get to the hole. They cleaned a ton of underbrush out of that.
Yeah.
So you could almost go straight and still have a shot in there. So I was like,
that was a good bit easier. I mean,
come on.
I didn't play it super well either time. My like second throw, I think, was always sort of rough. We're like not in a great position, but it was definitely easier.
Mm-hmm.
So then after third round, I went down 2 places. So I was then 85th place.
Yeah, that was again back at New London. Not New London. I keep doing that.
Ivy Hill.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of gray. And what I mean by that is a lot of bogeys. A lot of bogeys, a lot of double bogeys. It was a 32 over. And this was the round in which I pretty much started getting the yips with my backhand. It was like, it started out on hole 1, and it is the worst experience with my backhand I have ever had by far. Grip locked really terribly, like straight to the right. My backhand, and then I proceeded every single throw. The next like 5 or 6 throws I tried to do with the backhand, the same exact thing happened. I would grip lock it like really bad. It was bad. Like it was bad. And then I got to the point to where I like just couldn't. I like couldn't even try to throw the backhand because I was just grip locking it so terribly. And so I was trying to throw my, my forearm was still pretty decent. So I was trying to like throw my forearm, but there were just a lot of holes. They were not forearm holes, And then I remember later on in the round, I'm like, okay, I'll try to throw the backhand again because, there had been a little bit more time. And then I like early released it. So I went OB because I had such an early release on like a super steep downhill hole. It was probably like hole
7,
13 maybe or something. At Ivy.
At Ivy, yeah. Because you had that one that's a real kind of a steep downhill. That's right after that barn. That's earlier in the round. Later in the round, the steep downhill one was.
It was before 13. So let me see. It's 13.
I think it was 12. I think it was 11. I bet it was 11.
11. No, because that's not long enough.
Oh, it was 10. It was 10.
It was 10. Yeah.
Yeah. That is a long, really steep downhill. Then the pin is kind of like through a narrow little gap that they have, and it's kind of on the side of a hill.
Yeah. And it was the one thing about Ivy Hills was that it was doubly punishing for people who didn't have distance.
Mm-hmm.
So like already punishment enough if you don't have distance, but this course was like, we're going to make it even more punishing for people who don't have distance. Mm-hmm. Because if you didn't have, like 350 plus feet of power, then you would make your first drive, it would be fine. But then the next landing zone for you for that distance was where you'd come into this tiny peak where you'd have to land like right there to be in bounds. And if you were outside of that area, that tiny little area, you were OB. So you were like, you were extra punished for not having distance and not having like power, which was not, I felt like was really, really bad for the FPO field. Like it was really super discouraging for people because it's like we're not at that point to where maybe like 10, 15, 20 years down the road when everyone is like all FPO players that are touring, you know, or can throw 360, 400 feet or whatever. But it just, it was very frustrating if you didn't have that distance, and it was extremely punishing.
There was a hole 12. It was 491, par three, and that one, it was just the design of that one I thought
Insane.
was completely ridiculous.
It was very ridiculous.
I mean, you had like these lanes you had to land in, but if you were just a little bit off that lane, you were OB. It's a wide open area, mind you.
And
But it
you
was
had to
OB.
drop zone if you were OB anywhere.
Yeah, and then down around the basket, it was like 15 feet to the right and back was OB. I was like, seriously?
It was
That
insane.
that to me was ridiculous. And you saw FPL, almost everybody was going OB on that. Almost everybody.
Yeah.
Like,
And then the next hole was rough, and then the next hole was the one where you had to have like 350, 360 worth of power just to be in bounds.
yeah.
And the next hole was one where they had the basket was on the side of a hill like
It's
this.
yeah, the
And
famous Proctor rollaway and
Right.
Nicholas Antelope rollaways.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh. I remember when I saw that, I was like, why? Just why?
Yeah.
I understand you want to make it a little difficult, but come on.
It's just bad design. It's just
Yeah.
it was like you couldn't, it was dangerous too. Like you couldn't
Yeah.
get footing. It was super difficult to get up the hill. It was like if you're it was not good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you had to be
I
a
don't
billy
have a
goat
lot
to go up that thing.
to say about Ivy Hill.
I mean, that's literally the whole, I was like, yeah, I'm done with this.
Yeah. Other than pretty, it is a very pretty complex.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. It's got that going for it.
Yeah.
So then,
Wait, that was
four?
soul crushing, and then at that point, that was my second sub 800 round that I had. Oh yay, party balloons! Apparently, YouTube or whatever is excited that I got sub 700 rated rounds.
It doesn't give me all the cool things like it gives you.
I know. 2.
I guess not. I guess they were not as excited now.
Yeah, so anyway, so I got a sub 800 rated round Am Worlds, and then a sub 800 rated round Pro Worlds, which is, you know, more so like, okay, I really don't belong here. You know? So that was rough. It was just defeating. It was so discouraging, and I was trying to stay like, you know, fairly positive throughout it. And there were some other things that were going on during the round 2, with like card mates and stuff. So it was a lot. It was not a fun experience. So I went down a couple more spots. So then I was on last card for our final round because I didn't make it into the finals. Surprise, surprise.
And that's the round I walked with y'all.
Yes, and that was then a not great round at New London. It was kind of like just a lot of little things were going wrong again, you know, like OBs, misses. I think I was trying my backhand again with some things, like I was trying to be confident with it, but it just was not working out. And so that really impacted my confidence moving forward, and trying to use my backhand. And I still haven't really like figured that out. I mean, I had a couple, I had some of a good round just this past weekend yesterday, but even that, I still feel like I have a lot of work to go to undo what happened at Pro Worlds with my back. So that was so the the first time I played New London, it was an 8 over, and then it was an 18 over the second time. So and an 18 over was 842 rated, which shows you know how tough of a course it was.
Mm-hmm.
But still, and I only got 2 birdies the entire tournament, and they were both at New London. The first was round 2, which was hole 9. I got a 4 on the par 5, 780-foot hole. And then round 4, my final round on hole 16, I got a 2 on hole 16. So only 2 birdies the entire tournament.
And I would say 16 is a good one to get a birdie on. It's 300. It's a good forehand shot there.
Yeah.
What do they actually have it listed? They have it listed at 280 on the course. It says 300.
Yeah, it's. I think it's more, but anyway, then was it the next day? You and I went and played. And honestly, like, I was glad I wasn't playing the final round because I would not have wanted to play Ivy Hill again.
Mm-hmm.
I was just kind of glad. But I did go there and hung out for a little bit, watched some things, and then we went to Falling Creek and played there.
We went to Peaksview.
Was it Peaksview? When did we go to Falling Creek?
I don't think me and you've ever played Falling Creek. Did we play then?
Yeah. Because remember, it was like my ace hole that we recorded.
Because it was me, you, and Maddie P. Disc Golf. And
you and I went there and played.
Did we?
Yeah.
My goodness, I'm old. I've literally completely forgotten it. But let me just throw this out there too real quick. Congratulations to Evelina. So happy for her getting that Worlds.
Yeah.
I gotta look at my scores.
Yep. So that's my last round, August 25th. Oh, no, wait. Did I go back? No, yeah, so I'm not sure what day that would have been. Let me see. This day was...
Yeah, it was August 25th. We did go play.
Yeah, so it was actually so it was the final day. So I remember I went to Ivy Hill. I hung out there for a while, and then you and I went to Falling Creek.
Right.
And we played that, and
Yeah, it was the Sunday we played Peaksview.
Yes.
Yes.
So it was the next day.
Right.
And then I actually ended up playing 3 rounds that day. I played Peaks. No, actually you weren't. Okay, no. So I played that course with you. And then the next day I played that course twice, and then I drove to Blacksburg and I played the Virginia Tech course once.
Mm-hmm.
So I played 3 rounds. Right, that was like a lot of rounds in a short amount of time.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how you do that. That's
sometimes I don't know how I do it either.
That's exhausting. So when we played our round on that Sunday, I played literally the worst round I played at Peaksview in a long time. And at one point, I don't know who did this, but someone kicked my disc golf bag.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry. I was so frustrated. I couldn't throw a good shot.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I got 2 of my friends here that I rarely get. Well, Matty P, it's the first time I got to hang out with him. And I'm like, I can't stop hitting every tree on this course. It's the easiest course.
Yeah. It was pretty fun. I liked playing it.
Yeah. You like seeing me hit them trees.
Oh.
It was a rough day. But But we played again after that, and I played much better.
Yes, we played Randolph.
Mm-hmm. Which I really enjoyed that course. Still love that course.
Yeah, it's a super fun course. So anyway, that's kind of my Worlds experience. We were able to go to kind of like a alt mart that they had at a brewery nearby, and like a bunch of people were set up. Like my sponsor Neptune Disc was set up. A lot of the players were set up because they pretty much weren't able to set up at the actual fly mart because it was like too expensive to do so. So that was really cool. Had fun. After the third round, I think that was like the main day that they had that alt mart, and then I went to Waffle House afterwards and was up kind of late. We had a fun time having breakfast food. So yeah, there were definitely some good moments in parts and all of that. And before Pro Worlds, I was able to be in Blacksburg for a little bit, and then I went back to Blacksburg afterwards. And I was able to play some Ultimate Frisbee with the Ultimate Frisbee group that I started like 10 years ago. And it was super fun. I was able to hang out with some friends there and have a really good time and play some disc golf with some friends there. And also like play the round with you and everything. And we finally got kind of an official like full recorded round together and stuff. So that was fun. But yeah, but the tournament itself and the tournament rounds themselves were not good. I was in an Airbnb with like Sarah Holcomb, Chris, Leah, and then there were a couple other people that kind of like stayed a couple of the nights, but it was mostly us, and had a really good time with them. So yeah, there were definitely parts of it that were good, but I would say from my experience personally, it was in terms of my disc golf career and all of that, it was pretty discouraging. Pretty discouraging in terms of the disc golf world for me.
Funny story about the recorded round. I had mics, and apparently they just don't want to work. But I can't remember, it was whole like 16 or something like that. Yours came off. We looked for like an hour. We finally found it, which was shocking.
Yeah, the fact that we found that is a miracle.
I was like, how? I mean, that's why you need to record all your rounds right there. So if you lose a mic, or if you lose a disc, you can kind of go back and watch and see kind of where it went. There you go.
Yeah. That was a pretty rough round for me there too. Usually I do a lot better at that course by that point, but I turned it around some. The back 9, but the front 9 was definitely a lot more rough than normal. Anyway, then after, I don't know if there's do you have any other like questions or thoughts about like Pro Worlds?
Pro Worlds first, congratulations to Isaac, congratulations to Evelina. Our friend Brooke, she actually jumped pools at one time, and she didn't make the final round, but she did jump pools, which I thought was pretty awesome. But
impressive, yeah. She did really well at Am Worlds, got second place, and then she came in, just really killing it at Pro Worlds and did a great job.
But I think that's about everything that I had from those courses. I mean, other than the fact that I had an absolute blast hanging out with you there. You let me come out and do the practice. Well, not actually do the practice round, but be the practice round with you. Seeing Sarah throwing her forehand on the one hole, that was pretty awesome. Seeing Kristen, throw a few shots from like 2 feet away, which was really awesome. Excuse me. And I said Tatar earlier, I think. It's Kristen Lott. Come on.
Yeah. Well, it just reached at the time.
Walking the round with you, I thought was, the last round. It was you, Autumn Wong, and was it Cassandra?
Yeah.
on that last round. Zach Melton was walking the round, and so that was really cool for me to be able to do that. So first off, I appreciate you letting me do that. That's always so cool. So
Yeah,
thank you for that.
glad you were able to be there.
So
Play better,
yeah.
but I had never played around with Autumn, I don't think, and so it was really fun to be able to play with her. And of course, Cassandra, I had played with her, and then I also played, and I played with her again another 2 rounds, maybe, or maybe it was 1 round.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I played another 1 or 2 rounds with her the following weekend at the West Virginia Open or
Mm-hmm.
Paul.
Mm-hmm. Did you want to talk about that tournament?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that one a little bit just because it was like a bit of a redemption after Pro Worlds. Not entirely, but I almost averaged a 900 rating for that tournament, which was at least somewhat encouraging because let me look at the ratings for amateur worlds. I averaged 853, so 30 points below my rating currently, or my current rating at the time. It's gone down some since. And then at Pro Worlds, I averaged 843, so even worse. So almost 40 points, average 40 points worse than my average. So then to come out and have an average that was 10 points over my rating was encouraging. But the way I did it was I actually, the entire tournament, pretty much, I didn't throw like a single backhand. Like everything was a forearm. So if it needed to act like a backhand, then I just did a really flippy disc and had it like turn over. So it was funny because so I played. So Sarah Hokum ended up winning that. Lauren Butler got second, and Juliana Korver got third, and I got fourth place. So like last cash on there. So I worked my way back. The first round, I was fifth place. Second round, I was fourth place, and then third round, I was fourth place. So I was able to like work my way back. So that was pretty cool. And they were fun. They were fun, really challenging courses, super difficult. Some of them like very wooded, especially the course that we played twice. So it was 2 rounds the first day and then 1 round the second day. But we ended up having like the craziest storm where there was like a ton of flooding, trees that were down, accidents, a lot of stuff. I'm surprised I even was able to get out of the area to get back to where I was staying because of how much like there were areas of the road that there was like flooding an entire side of the road where you'd have to like go around to the other side of the road. So we did not end up finishing all of the second round. We ended up pushing it to the next day. So we finished the second round on the second day and then started the third round. So that was really interesting because I don't think I'd ever had something quite like that happen. Like I have had where you finished around the next day, but it was just like it was a pretty intense storm that we had, and a lot of people were actually camping there on site, and so I don't know how their stuff fared, but anyway, that was good. Like I said, just to be able to have 2 of my 3 rounds that were over 900 rated. The first round was kind of rough, but that was also the round I was kind of trying to do backhand at first, and then I just got to a point to where I was like, I can't do it. Like hole 1, I tried to throw a backhand and it ended very poorly. So yeah, And then after that point, I have tried like a couple more tournaments, but I haven't really like played, a whole lot since then. So that was kind of a cool thing to be able to experience, to know that just with a flick, I can be 900 rated essentially.
I think now I could be wrong about this, but I believe that was Sarah's first win since she came back from her ankle injury, or when she had an ankle operated on.
Oh yeah, that's probably true. I don't know. I mean, I haven't looked at all of that, but
I think it was. So that's so. Has your backhand is it coming back yet, or are we still a state of
I
flux?
know it's hard to tell. And there's just so much like a mental aspect of it, and I'm trying to decide, because when I first started working on my backhand, it was all standstill, and then I worked
Mm-hmm.
a run up, and I'm kind of like struggling now. Should I just like go back to the standstill? I probably should, but I don't know. Like I had some really good backhand throws this past weekend. Then I also had some really bad backhand throws, so it was kind of, like back and forth. I had a couple where, I threw it and I was like, yes, like that's it. But then I would go again and like just throw it into the ground, or the angle would be wrong, or like
Mm-hmm.
the like just no fluid, no, not, so there's just a lot of a disconnect there, and I think a lot of the problem is just my confidence with it, my confidence level. I have just so little confidence in my backhand at this point that it's just going to take a lot to overcome that. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, a lot of muscle memory that I need to really solidify, to be able to get to a point to where I feel at all confident with my backhand. But even this weekend, though, the round one was really bad, and I had another, like I said again, sub 800 rated round, which was super discouraging. But round one, even my forearm was not going well. Of course, that didn't, that kind of made some sense, because it's like, okay, well, I really hadn't played at all in an entire month, except
Yeah.
for that one day that I played a casual round. So, but I was like doing things that I don't normally do with my forearm. I was throwing very nose up, and, they just stall and fall down, and it just was not working well. And I was doing that a lot. Like I threw nose up and just had really bad throws on a lot of my forearms. And it's not that it felt different, so I'm trying to like figure out during the round, okay, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to change? And that's just such a tough thing to do
Mm-hmm.
during a tournament round, to really like break down and analyze your form and what's going wrong. And then sometimes I would even throw it, into the ground. So there was a lot of back and forth. I think I may, on my stories, I may post, all of the throws for my rounds. I don't know. We'll see if I get to that or not. But anyway, it's pretty rough the first day, and then day 2 things were better, and I tried the backhand some. But also I think the forehand was a little bit better, but I was able to get some backhand things, and it actually felt like a better round in a lot of ways than day 1, but it ended up, the result was much worse of a round for whatever reason. I actually liked that course better too. It felt more like a disc golf course. It was more tough, more actual like lines, more wooded holes that I felt like were fun to play. And then the final day was the almost 900 rated round, where everything started coming together a little bit more, which was interesting because a hole 1 started out not super great. Like my drive, I decided, okay, I'm going to try a backhand on this. And, I'm like really nervous about it. And it's like, I kind of shank it a little bit. It's not a complete shank, but it's like I definitely didn't throw it where I wanted to throw it, but it ends up in an okay position. And then my second throw, there's like OB all along the right side. And so I decided, okay, I'm going to try to, I could definitely have very easily just thrown a flick that day. And my flick was actually really good at that point. For whatever reason, I decided to fix whatever problems I had for that round and was throwing the flick fantastically. Anyway, I tried it. I was like, no, I'm going to try to throw the backhand again just to, get it to where I'm doing that in a tournament setting. And I threw the Grace, which is, more stable, something like, okay, I can put it out more to the right and I can be more confident that it's going to come back. Well, it didn't. And I threw a B.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. And then my next throw, I tried a standstill backhand with a passion, chopped it off a lot. So ended up in a really bad spot where I had like no great view of the basket. So then I had this patent pending backhand that I was trying to do an Annie with the PA5, and that didn't go super well. I was in like a really awkward position where I needed to putt like over these, I don't know what they would be called, definitely Florida foliage. And I made the putt. So it was a pretty fun putt to make because it was kind of like you had to go up over it and then back down and into the basket. So
Wow.
Saved bogey. Anyway, so yeah, there were definitely a lot of redeeming things about the final round that gave me a little bit more hope and made me decide that I might try to play a tournament this coming weekend if I can stay with Leah.
Leah, who just won a Q event.
Yes, she won the finale, so she got herself a tour card. Yeah, Leah's
Awesome.
great.
Good for her.
So it's the South Florida this weekend. It's in Fort Lauderdale, I think.
Nice. Let's see. Couple things. Todd, he says, I warm up my shoulders by swinging a baseball bat for 5 minutes. It helps forehands.
Nice.
I like that idea.
Yep.
Helps backhands too.
Yeah, I know some people that they have like the tennis racket and will like swing that.
I've seen people with tennis rackets and badminton rackets. I've seen that a lot lately.
I think that's actually what I was thinking. I think actually maybe badminton racket.
Is I was watching a practice round with somebody, I can't remember who it was, and they had one in their backpack. I was like, there must be some really big flies and gnats around that place. I didn't even think about using that as a warm up. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Let's see this right here. I always want to undo grip locks. I suppose you have to do a forearm exercise, shake it off and hope. I think that's the key right there at the end, and hope.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a standstill is an important part of it, and just that, and then like a really good like brace foot, because I was just having, that was a lot of my problem getting back into it, was all related to like my brace foot, and I just wasn't bracing enough, and so I just still haven't really like figured that out. I mean, it was at a point to where it was like muscle memory and I knew exactly what to do, and then somehow between like last year with the surgery and being out of it for such a long time, I just lost that, and then haven't been able to get it back. But the brace foot is extremely important with like not rounding and stuff like that.
Yeah, one thing you could do, someone told me once, do you have a mirror?
I wonder who told you that.
Believe it or not, I still don't. But I look good. Anyway. I would tell you, you was talking about start doing standstills. Lately, my forehand, I'm going nose up a lot. So I've had to go back to just standstills, and I can keep it a lot flatter doing that. I don't know what it's my run up causing me to have a little lift in it.
Yeah, but, probably.
I'm not throwing it quite as far, but it's a lot more consistent. So until I get that run up better, that's what I'll do. It's okay. Charles and Todd, 2025 Am Worlds is in Columbia, Missouri. Columbia, Missouri. So hope weather holds up. Oh, and Todd, they're getting a Waffle House. I haven't been to Waffle House or
I always called it
IHOP in forever.
I used to go all the time in grad school.
Hmm.
And it would be like freezing cold, so I would bring in like extra pants and like extra jackets and hoodies and like blankets even into because it would be like the middle of the night, you're like, hey, let's go get something to eat, you're just up like studying
Mm-hmm.
and or doing work or whatever, and we just like go to Waffle House.
My food addiction right now is, I know it's going to shock you, is blueberry pancakes and $1 Million Bacon. I mean, first watch, I mean, oh my gosh, tear those
Million
things
dollars
up.
is heavenly.
And I have told them, I was like, make sure that bacon is crispy. I don't like to pick up my bacon. It's just, it's like, no, cook it. Come on.
Yeah. It's delicious.
It is. It's so good. And it's so healthy, especially with all that butter and syrup all over it.
Yeah.
And, it's bread. Um, you got anything else?
Not that I can think of. Do you have anything else that you wanted to share? I mean, obviously, you got to experience Pro Worlds to a large extent since it was right in your backyard.
Yes. I will say this: it gave me confidence seeing them play New London, because before that, I'm just like, this course is impossible. And after seeing them, some of them just absolutely destroy that course, I was like, maybe it's not that hard after all. And I've been
just really good.
I've been playing the layout that y'all played, and yes, I'm playing that. There's no OB on that side. And I've done a lot better since then. I was like, I guess the mental aspect of a course, and you just say it's impossible. It defeated me before I even threw the first shot. And after seeing the play, I'm like, it's really difficult, but it's not as difficult as I'm making it out to be.
Yeah.
So that helped me a lot. But just seeing all the amazing players. One thing at Worlds, I'll tell you that there's another thing at Worlds that really struck me as being really wrong with Worlds. And you mentioned it earlier about the Fly Mart and how much they were charging people to set up at the tournament.
Yeah.
And I went down to USDGC at Throw Pink at Winthrop. Their vending is huge. And I was like, this is what World should be like. They should have a lot more vending. They had a great area for a big screen TV. If you just wanted to sit and watch the event, you could.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, Worlds, y'all got to do better. Y'all have to do better. Food, vendors just selling discs and different things. They need to do a lot better for that.
Yeah, well, especially for the players too, because players, that's their livelihood. But players weren't even able to, sell their merchandise really even.
Yeah, I mean, especially at New London. I mean, you would have had to go over to Hole 5, where the tiny little area was. I mean, it just even like set up at a place to sign autographs or something.
Yeah,
it was terrible setup for that. Even though I loved watching it in New London.
yeah.
And let's see, what else? I mean, seeing Evelina win. Everybody knows I'm a huge Evelina fan, so that meant a lot to me. Seeing her hold up the little jug.
Yeah, I was really happy for her. I'm glad she won.
I
was also very excited for Cat Merch that like she played so well.
What was that?
Cat Merch. I was really excited for her. She played so well. She was really such a fight. It was awesome.
Cat Merch is just so much fun to watch. Yeah, when she's playing well, I mean, she's dancing around, singing, and it's awesome to watch her play. Her Own's always fun to play. She could hit every tree on the course. She's still gonna have fun.
Yeah.
So, was that all I really took away from that? I mean, walking around with you, I walked around with Brooke. So that was a lot of fun. Wait, was Zach walking with your group, or was he walking with Brooke's group?
With our group.
Okay. That's what I thought, but then when I just said that, I was like, wait, which one was he walking with?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to walk the New London course. I could not walk with groups on that Ivy course. That was brutal.
Yeah, very brutal.
We
were glad you were able to be there, and it was good to get to see you again. Yeah.
Let's see. And let me see if I can set this up. This is something that has been 4 months in the making. Let me see. Slides, PDFs, video, share screen. Let's see here. Okay. Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay. The giveaway is finally happening. I was waiting for you to be here, and I put everybody's name in it that entered the contest, the 1,000 subscriber giveaway. Let me see. And you win the autographed disc. And I might throw something else in there. We'll see. And I apologize again. It was supposed to be back in October when we did this, but things happened. So let's see who wins. This is so exciting.
Drum roll.
Jack. Jack Bing, I will be reaching out, and hopefully I can get in touch with you so I can send this autograph disc out to you. I should have mentioned earlier I was doing that, but I didn't. That's okay. But Jack, I will be reaching out, and hopefully I can get in touch so I can send you that disc as soon as possible. So I really wanted to do that. Again, I apologize it wasn't back in October like I said it was going to be, but I wanted to wait to have you here since it's your disc with let me see. There it is. Your logo and your signature on it. So I wanted to be sure you were here when we did that.
Yeah. Well, this podcast has definitely been a long time coming. There were just a lot of things that happened, scheduling stuff, me not feeling well physically, having a lot of health issues, and then just didn't work out until now, but I'm glad we're finally able to get to it.
Yeah. We plan on hopefully having
at least one more.
A couple more. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say
we wanted
like maybe 2 more before the end of the year, maybe.
Mm-hmm. I want to do this one to do Worlds, and then we'll do was it some events that we missed before Worlds or Am Worlds?
Yeah, I think so.
And then the last part of the year.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Not that I can think of.
All right. Thank everyone for coming. Again, this is part of our 25 days of disc golf, and I'm talking to a couple more players. Hopefully, we can have some more of those on before before Christmas. And Rebecca, we try to have you on again before Christmas. If you want to, we got you. But
maybe we'll see.
Yes, maybe next week. Thank everyone for being here. Always a blast. Rebecca, thank you again. And you guys have an incredible day.